Welcome to Mind Haven World, a sanctuary for cultivating inner strength and steady, quiet discipline. Here's the truth. Your emotions aren't facts. Your mood doesn't get to run the show. And yet, every day, so many people let a fleeting feeling dictate their actions and derail their potential. But not you. Not anymore. This is Mind Over Mood, how to control feelings so you control outcome. This standalone audiobook takes you deep into one of life's most essential skills, emotional control. It's a foundational discipline that shapes the quality of your work, your relationships, and your everyday experience. While it pairs seamlessly with our self-mastery trilogy, this book stands on its own as your focused, no-fluff guide to breaking the habit of reacting and stepping into a more deliberate, empowered way of living. So if you're ready to stop letting moods steer your outcomes and start leading from a place of clarity and choice, you're exactly where you need to be. Let's get started. Chapter 1. Stop worshipping your mood. Your mood is not your God. So stop bowing to it. Stop handing it authority it never earned. Let's clear something up right now. Your feelings are not facts. Your emotions? They're not truth. They're not laws. They're not orders. They're suggestions. And like any suggestion, you can choose to ignore them. But here's the problem. You've been trained to treat your mood like a master. You've been told to honor your emotions, to listen to your feelings, to only act when it feels right. That sounds poetic, but it's garbage. Here's what no one told you. Your feelings lie. Constantly. They shift with your blood sugar. They change with your sleep. They follow the weather, your inbox, or some random TikTok you didn't even mean to see. And still, most people build their day, their habits, even their entire identity, on emotional quicksand. Let me ask you something. Would you trust a guide who changes direction every 10 minutes? Would you board a plane with a pilot who flies based on mood? Would you follow a general who panics when the mission gets tough? No? Then why let your mood run the show? You wouldn't, unless you've been conditioned to. But that stops now. Today, you take the lead. Today, you stop worshipping your mood. Here's the truth. Mood is a signal, not a script. It can inform you. It can give you clues. But it should never give you commands. That's your job. You're the one in charge. Your job is to lead your feelings, not follow them. So say this out loud. Feelings are not facts. Emotion is data, not direction. I lead. Feelings follow. That's the shift. That's the unlock. You were told that emotional honesty is a virtue. But what they really taught you was how to stay stuck. Because if you only act when you feel like it, you'll never build consistency. You'll never build real identity. You'll just build a habit of hesitation and regret. Let me make it simple. Mood-based living leads to mood-based results. And mood-based results are inconsistent, weak, and full of excuses. Think about it. How many workouts did you skip because you weren't in the mood? How many conversations did you avoid because they made you uncomfortable? How many opportunities passed you by because your confidence dipped? That's the cost of mood worship. And believe me, it's expensive. You don't build discipline when it's easy. You build it when your mood says no, and you move anyway. That's what separates amateurs from pros. That's what separates the interested from the committed. And that's what this book is here to do. To teach you how to choose the mission over the mood. So let me hit you with the truth. You don't need to feel motivated to act. You don't need to feel confident to begin. You don't need perfect emotional alignment to move forward. What you need is clarity. What you need is commitment. What you need is to take the mic back from your emotions. Because if you keep obeying your mood, here's what happens. You lose momentum. You build an identity around inconsistency. And eventually, you start to believe that discipline is for other people. That's the trap. And the way out? You stop believing the lie. Say it again. My mood doesn't lead me. My decisions do. Now, let's get practical. Step 1. Label it. Don't live in it. I'm tired. I'm frustrated. I'm discouraged. Okay. Label it. Acknowledge it. But don't let it write your next move. Step 2. Act against it. Move anyway. Speak anyway. Show up anyway. If your mood says pause, you say go. If your emotion says retreat, you say advance. Every time you override emotion with action, you strengthen your identity. You build emotional authority. That's power. Step 3. Repeat the truth until it drowns out the feeling. Feelings are not facts. Feelings are not facts. Feelings are not facts. Burn that into your mental script. Turn it into your default response. Because this isn't about comfort. It's about commitment. It's not about emotion. It's about execution. Here's the phrase I want you to remember. The mantra you say before you take any action. You lead. Feelings follow. That's your battle cry. You don't get out of bed because you feel like it. You get up because that's who you are. You don't finish the work because you feel good. You finish because the mission matters more than your mood. That's the difference. That's the whole game. The world wants you soft. Your feelings want you small. Your mood wants comfort. But your mission? Your mission demands control. It demands action. It demands that you decide, not your feelings. So here's the truth. You can feel scared and still speak. You can feel tired and still train. You can feel discouraged and still deliver. Why? Because you are not your mood. You're the one making decisions in the middle of it. You have a choice. You always have a choice. And the second you choose identity over impulse, that's when everything changes. Your mood isn't your god. Your emotions aren't your boss. Your mission is. Your vision is. Your standards are. So stop checking in with your feelings. Start checking in with your values. Check in with your future. Because moods fade. But your results? They stay. So stop worshiping your mood. Start leading your life. You've just taken the first real swing. You've knocked your emotions off the pedestal. And you've reminded yourself who's in charge. You are. Now that we've shut down the false god of mood, it's time to destroy its favorite excuse. Chapter 2. The lie of I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it is the anthem of the unaccomplished. Winners don't ask their mood for permission. They execute, no matter what. Let's not sugarcoat this. I don't feel like it is the most expensive sentence you'll ever say. It's the excuse that's stolen more dreams, delayed more goals, and destroyed more progress than almost anything else. Think about it. How many times have you said it, quietly, just to yourself? I don't feel like going to the gym. I don't feel like having that conversation. I don't feel like writing today. I don't feel like starting over. And what happens next? Nothing. Momentum dies. Discipline fades. And the life you say you want slips further out of reach. Let's be honest. Everyone wants the results. But not everyone is willing to move when it's uncomfortable. That's the dividing line. That's the test. That's the separator. Discipline isn't what you do when it feels good. Discipline is what you do especially when it doesn't. When it's raining. When you're tired. When you're overwhelmed. When your mood says, not today. That's when the real ones rise. So if I don't feel like it is still calling the shots in your life, you're not serious yet. Not about your goals. Not about your identity. Not about your future. Here's the truth. Your mood is noise. Discipline is signal. Every time you say, I don't feel like it, you're turning up the volume on distraction, on doubt, on delay. And here's what makes it dangerous. It feels justified. It feels logical. It even feels like self-care. But it's not. It's self-sabotage dressed up as self-compassion. Let me paint a picture. You think Olympic athletes always feel like training? You think champions only show up when the stars align? Not a chance. They wake up sore. They train while angry. They push through heartbreak, through injury, through exhaustion. Because they've learned one thing. The work gets done, regardless of mood. Write that down. Burn it in your brain. Say it again. The work gets done, regardless of mood. That's what makes them different. That's what makes them dangerous. You've got to stop waiting for emotional permission to move. You don't need it. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need to feel confident. You don't even need to feel good. You just need to act. You need to show up. You need to do the thing, especially when you don't feel like it. Because action creates momentum. Momentum builds identity. And identity rewires behavior. That's the formula. That's the win. That's how it's built. So what do you do when that voice shows up? I don't feel like it. I'll do it later. Today's not the day. Here's what you do. You don't argue. You don't negotiate. You override it. You say, noted, and we're doing it anyway. And then you move. You act. You show yourself who's actually in control. That's the shift. That's the skill. That's the power. You have a choice. You always have a choice. And the moment you stop needing to feel like it, that's when everything changes. Let's get tactical. Step 1. Pre-decide. Don't wait for the moment of hesitation. Make the decision before your mood even gets a chance to speak. This is what professionals do. Set your alarm. Lay out your gear. Block off the time. Make it automatic. Because if it's optional, your emotions will find a way to skip it. Step 2. Shrink the ask. Don't aim for perfect. Aim for motion. Can't do the full workout? Do 5 minutes. Don't want to write the whole chapter? Write a paragraph. Avoiding the hard conversation? Just say the first line. Momentum beats scale. Progress beats perfection. Action, any action, is how you break the lie. The lie that says you have to feel like it first. Step 3. Make do it anyway your default command. Say it out loud. Say it often. Live by it. I'm tired. Do it anyway. I'm not in the mood. Do it anyway. It's not the right time. Do it anyway. This is the language of a leader. This is the mindset of a finisher. This is the identity of someone who gets results, not someday now. Here's the truth no one tells you. You don't get successful by doing what feels good. You get successful by doing what's required. And yeah, sometimes what's required sucks. But that's the cost. That's the contract. And if you want to win, you have to rip this excuse out by the root. I don't feel like it is not a valid reason. It's not even a phrase that belongs in your vocabulary anymore. Because the version of you who gets it done, they show up regardless. They do it anyway. They don't wait to feel like it, they act their way into feeling. Let me leave you with this. You don't need a perfect mood. You need movement. You don't need inspiration. You need integrity. It's not about motivation. It's about momentum. It's not about feelings. It's about choices. You don't feel your way into discipline. You discipline your way through the feelings. That's the key. That's the unlock. That's the life-changing shift. So next time your brain whispers, I don't feel like it, you know exactly what to say. Do it anyway. Mood is noise. Discipline is signal. You just buried the excuse. You reminded yourself who calls the shots. You do. And now that we've shut that voice down, let's take aim at the next one, the one that hijacks your peace and triggers your worst behavior. Chapter 3. Reaction is a choice, not a reflex. Let's get something straight, right now. No one makes you angry. No one gets under your skin. No one pushes your buttons. You let them. You handed them that power. You gave them the remote. You chose to react. And yes, I said chose. Because reaction is not a reflex. It's a decision. You have a choice. Every time. But here's the problem. You've been fed a lie. You've been told that reactivity is honesty. That lashing out is being real. That being triggered is someone else's fault. It's not. Emotional reactivity is weakness, dressed up as authenticity. Let me say it again. Emotional reactivity is weakness. When you snap, when you lose it, when you blow up. That's not power. That's proof you lost control. Think about it. You get cut off in traffic, you explode. You read a stupid comment online, you spiral. You get a text from your ex, and your whole day's wrecked. Why? Because you reacted. You gave your power away. Instead of leading your emotions, you let them drive. That's the trap. That's how you burn bridges. That's how you sabotage momentum. That's how you end up living life on emotional autopilot. So what does real strength look like? It's the pause. It's the breath. It's the space between the trigger and your response. That's where power lives. Power is staying calm when everything in you wants to explode. Power is choosing your words when chaos is screaming at you. Power is you deciding how to show up, on your terms. Let's walk through this. Someone disrespects you. Someone lies. Someone baits you. You feel it rising. The heat. The tension. The urge to strike back. And here comes the reflex. Say something sharp. Fire off the text. Clap back. Get even. But that's not strength. That's programming. That's you being run by emotion, not driven by intention. So here's your upgrade. Pause. Breathe. Decide. Respond. Say it with me. Pause. Breathe. Decide. Respond. Not react. Respond. That's the shift. That's the muscle. That's the move that changes everything. Because reaction comes from panic. Response comes from presence. Reaction is emotional debt. Response is emotional discipline. Let's bring it into real life. Ever sent a nasty text and regretted it 10 minutes later? Ever blasted an email, then wished you could take it back? Exactly. Reaction feels good for a second, but costs you for days. It robs you of trust, peace, and credibility. And usually, it wasn't even about them, it was about you. Your need to control. Your need to be right. Your need to win. But let me ask you, what's the price of being reactive? What's it stealing from you? Respect. Focus. Opportunities. Relationships. Gone, because you didn't pause. So let's change it. Here's the work. Step 1, own it. Stop saying, they made me angry. No, they didn't. You felt anger. Then you chose to react without discipline. Own that. Because until you own it, you can't change it. You're not a victim of emotion. You're the one holding the wheel. Step 2, build the buffer. Train yourself to pause. When you get triggered, don't respond immediately. Don't text back. Don't storm out. Don't post something you'll regret. Just pause. One breath. That's all it takes. Inhale. Exhale. Then ask, who do I want to be right now? That's power. That's leadership. That's you taking the wheel back. Step 3, respond from your mission, not your ego. Not from pride. Not from pain. From purpose. Ask, what response protects my peace? What response aligns with my values? What keeps me in control? Then move from that place. Because you're not here to be triggered. You're here to lead. Now listen. I get it. Part of you might still be saying, well, I can't help it. That's just how I am. But that's not true. That's not how you are. It's just how you've trained. And what's been trained can be untrained. What's been learned can be replaced. You are not hardwired to overreact. You're just used to it. Now it's time to get used to something else. Pause. Patience. Power. Here's the truth. You can't lead your life if you're constantly reacting to it. You can't build momentum when every emotion becomes a detour. You can't step into greatness while being ruled by your triggers. It's not about expression, it's about elevation. It's not about reacting, it's about responding with clarity and conviction. That's what builds identity. That's what builds trust. That's what builds a life you're proud of. Will it take effort? Yes. Will it take practice? Absolutely. But the return is massive. You become unshakable. You become steady under fire. You become someone others can rely on, even when the pressure's on. That's what emotional discipline looks like. That's the win. That's the life you're building. So the next time your emotions flare up, the next time someone tries to drag you into drama, the next time your brain screams, react now. You already know what to do. Pause. Breathe. Decide. Respond. You lead. Feelings follow. That's how you hold your peace. That's how you protect your energy. That's how you stay in command. You just broke the cycle. You just proved to yourself who's in charge. You just practiced emotional authority. You're not a puppet. You're not on autopilot. You're a leader. And leaders respond. Now that you've taken back control of your reactions, it's time to silence the next thief of progress. Chapter 4. Mood addiction is real, and it's killing your progress. Let's call it what it is. Mood addiction. Nobody talks about it. Most people won't admit it. But it's real. And it's one of the biggest reasons you're stuck. Here's the hard truth. Some people don't actually want to change. They're addicted to the feeling of being stuck. They're hooked on the story of their own struggle. Why? Because it gives them identity. It gives them something to talk about. And most of all, it feels familiar. And the brain? The brain loves what's familiar, even when it's painful. Here's what you need to understand. You can be addicted to anger. You can be addicted to self-pity, to anxiety, to drama, to resentment, sadness, any emotion. And I'm not speaking metaphorically. I mean it literally. Your brain builds pathways around repeated emotions. The more you feel it, the more you rehearse it. And the more you rehearse it, the more your brain craves it. Even when it's wrecking your life. That's the science. That's the trap. Here's the problem. You start confusing familiarity with truth. You start thinking, this is just how I am. You start identifying with the emotion, instead of managing it. But your mood? That's not your personality. It's not your identity. It's just a loop. Just a habit. Just a pattern. And patterns can be broken. Let me paint a picture. You wake up feeling off. You check your phone, bad news. You miss a deadline. You start to spiral. Then your brain starts scanning for more reasons to feel bad. You dig up old mistakes. You replay old arguments. You start telling yourself, see? Nothing ever works out. What are you doing? You're rehearsing the problem. You're feeding the mood. You're giving energy to the pattern you say you want to escape. Here's the shift. Stop rehearsing the problem. Start rehearsing the outcome. That's the key. You don't fix a negative mindset by obsessing over it. You don't break toxic patterns by feeding them. You don't level up by giving your energy to what's broken. You get better by shifting your focus. By starving the mood. By feeding the mission. Let's make it practical. Step 1. Call out the addiction. Be honest with yourself. Are you addicted to emotional chaos? Do you secretly enjoy the drama? Do you keep reopening wounds just to feel something? More people do this than they want to admit. Why? Because drama gives people a sense of meaning. Pain makes them feel alive. And struggle? That becomes a badge of honor. But listen carefully. You're not here to collect emotional merit badges. You're here to win. And to win, you have to break the loop. Step 2. Cut off the fuel source. You feed your emotional addiction in specific ways. Ranting about it. Posting cryptic stories online. Playing the victim. Venting to people who coddle your pity. Telling the same stories over and over again. That's the fuel. Every time you feed it, you reinforce the mood. You teach your brain to stay there. So what's the move? Starve the mood. Don't talk about it. Don't spiral in it. Don't hand it to people who keep you stuck. Step 3. Redirect with power. Mood addiction is really attention addiction. Where your attention goes, emotion flows. So shift your focus. When that old emotion starts to rise, ask yourself, what's the mission right now? What would the disciplined version of me do next? What action moves me forward? And then do that. Because action breaks emotional loops. Not overthinking. Not wallowing. Not journaling it into oblivion. Movement kills mood addiction. You want to change your identity? Change what you rehearse. Stop rehearsing the wound. Start rehearsing the win. Stop replaying what broke you. Start building what frees you. This isn't just about mindset. This is about identity. You are not a hostage to your emotions. You are the one holding the remote. You have a choice. Every single day. Now, I know what some people are thinking. But I can't just turn off what I feel. I'm not faking it. I really am anxious or angry or exhausted. Listen, I'm not saying the emotion isn't real. I'm saying it doesn't deserve the driver's seat. You can feel something without feeding it. You can acknowledge emotion without obeying it. You can process pain without becoming it. That's emotional discipline. And emotional discipline is freedom. It's not about suppression. It's about selection. Choosing what stays. Choosing what serves. Choosing what moves the mission forward. Because when your identity is built around pain, you'll subconsciously destroy anything that threatens to take that pain away. Yes, some people ruin their own progress, just to stay inside the only feeling they've ever known. If you've been stuck in misery long enough, happiness feels suspicious. Progress feels foreign. Peace feels boring. So what do? They light another fire. They stir up another crisis. They start another fight. Why? Because chaos is familiar. And the familiar feels safe, even when it's self-destructive. That's the addiction. So what do? You rewire. One decision at a time. One moment at a time. One no to drama, and one yes to discipline. You wake up and say, this mood doesn't get to run my life today. This pattern ends with me. I don't rehearse the past, I build the future. That's the move. That's the formula. That's how it changes. Your brain will follow whatever you rehearse. So rehearse the outcome. Rehearse the mission. Rehearse who you're becoming. Visualize the win. Feel the momentum. And act like someone who's already broken free. Because here's the truth. It's not about emotion. It's about discipline. It's not about your mood. It's about your mission. It's not about how you feel. It's about what you build. So next time that old story shows up, next time that heavy mood creeps in, next time you feel yourself slipping into emotional autopilot, pause. Catch it. Starve it. Redirect it. You lead. Feelings follow. That's the shift. That's the breakthrough. That's the end of mood addiction, and the start of real freedom. You just took the wheel back. And now that you know how to kill the pattern, let's talk about what makes that discipline sustainable, even when it's boring. Chapter 5. Control your morning. Control your mood. Your first 60 minutes? They're everything. That's your emotional thermostat. If you let chaos in early, your mood spirals. If you lead your morning, you lead your day. You have a choice. You don't need their permission. You don't need to wait for motivation. You just need a plan, and the discipline to stick to it. Because the morning is not neutral. It's not passive. It's a launch pad. How you start is how you show up. Win the morning. Win the mood. Win the day. Let me show you what sabotage looks like. You hit snooze. You scroll Instagram. You check texts. You open your inbox. You let the world hijack your focus before you've even said good morning to yourself. And that's your mood setter. You just handed away your emotional baseline. And that baseline? It lingers. It wires your brain for reactivity. It shapes how you respond, how you think, how you feel, for the rest of the day. If you don't take control, your mood will. And when your mood takes over, your confidence drops. Your decisions weaken. Your discipline evaporates. So here's the truth. Control your morning. Control your mood. You have a choice. That's the key. It's not about feeling ready. It's about building structure that doesn't care how you feel. Now let's get practical. Let's talk about what actually works. This is what high performers do. This is how you build emotional stability before the world can shake you. Step 1. No snooze. Don't hit snooze. Get up on the first alarm. Because snooze trains your brain to stall. It tells your system, delay is okay. It teaches weakness before your feet hit the floor. Get up. Stand up. Move. That's your first win. And wins build momentum. Step 2. Hydrate immediately. Your body wakes up dehydrated. And when you're dehydrated, you feel off. Tired. Foggy. Irritable. Water changes that, fast. It tells your body, we're moving. We're awake. Let's go. No need to overcomplicate it. 1 glass of water. Maybe add a little salt. Maybe some lemon. Simple, powerful, and essential. Step 3. Chase light. Get outside. Get sunlight on your face, your skin, your eyes. Why? Because your circadian rhythm depends on light. Light resets your internal clock. It boosts cortisol at the right time. It helps regulate mood. Sunlight is nature's reset button. It tells your brain, this is the start. Let's lock in. You chase light, you chase clarity. That's what matters. Step 4. Move your body. Don't wait until after your coffee. Don't wait until the afternoon. Move first. It doesn't need to be a full workout. Stretch. Walk. Bodyweight exercises. Just get your body online. Movement triggers dopamine. It sparks neurochemistry that sharpens your mind and stabilizes your mood. You don't wait for a better mood to move. You move to create a better mood. That's the difference. That's the discipline. Step 5. Stillness. Meditation. Prayer. Journaling. Breath work. 5 minutes of stillness can rewire your entire day. Why? Because silence builds space. Space builds awareness. Awareness builds choice. You sit in silence to hear your direction, not your distractions. You plant roots before the wind starts blowing. Now let's bring it back to the big idea. Win the morning. Win the mood. Win the day. The steps are simple. But simple doesn't mean easy. Simple requires consistency. It requires decision. It requires refusing to let chaos run the show. You have a choice every morning. You don't need permission. You don't need motivation. You just need execution. Let's map it out. You wake at 5:30. No snooze. You hydrate. You step outside for light. You move for 10 minutes. You sit in silence for 5. And then you begin. Not with email. Not with Instagram. With your highest leverage task. That's your launch sequence. Do you always feel like doing it? No. But you do it anyway. Because discipline doesn't wait for feelings. And yes, some mornings will be harder. You'll be tired. You'll doubt yourself. You'll want to relapse into old habits. That's when you repeat. Win the morning. Win the mood. Win the day. You have a choice. That's the key. It's not about mercy. It's about mastery. Every time you follow through, you're building something bigger than just a routine. You're building resilience. You're building internal leadership. You're becoming someone who sets the tone, no matter the weather outside. Picture this. 1 week of strong mornings. Same rhythm. Same focus. Same commitment. 1 week of emotional clarity and forward motion. What changes? Your decisions get sharper. Your confidence rises. Your energy holds steady. Your day stops owning you, because now you own it. And it didn't take magic. It took structure. Not mood dependent. Mission dependent. Let's shut down the common traps. Trap number 1, I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow is the excuse. You start now. You have a choice. That's the key. Trap number 2, if I can't do all 5 steps, I won't do anything. Wrong. Do what you can. 1 habit done daily beats 5 done once. Trap number 3, I need someone to push me. No, you don't. You're not waiting on external applause. You're building internal accountability. Discipline doesn't need cheerleaders. It needs commitment. So now you've got the plan. You understand the why. You see the path. But none of that matters without execution. 30 days. No breaks. No negotiations. No drama. Just discipline. Control the morning. Control the mood. Control the mission. You'll be shocked how fast things shift. You'll feel it. You'll see it. You'll be it. You just took back the first hour of your day. You just reclaimed your emotional baseline. You just proved, again, that you don't need to be in the perfect mood to take action. You lead. Feelings follow. And tomorrow? You repeat. Now that your mornings are locked in, it's time to stop negotiating with the one thing that's been draining you silently. Chapter 6. Stop negotiating with negative thoughts. Let me ask you something straight up. If someone walked up and lied to your face, would you argue with them or walk away? Most people waste time arguing with liars. But I'm not talking about people out there. I'm talking about the liar in your own head. Negative thoughts, self-doubt, fear, shame. That quiet, relentless voice whispering, "You're not good enough." And instead of shutting it down, you entertain it. You negotiate. You reason with it. You try to logic your way out of a lie. But here's the truth. You don't debate lies. You delete them. That's the key. Your mind isn't always telling the truth. It's telling you what's familiar. It's echoing old fears. It's replaying past wounds. Negative thoughts aren't facts. They're suggestions. Just like spam emails, they show up uninvited. You don't open every spam message. You don't take it personally. You don't write back trying to defend your worth. You hit delete. You move on. Why? Because it's not about engagement. It's about elimination. And that's exactly how you need to treat negative thoughts. Decline the thought. Execute the plan. Let's break this down. Picture your mind as a courtroom. You're the judge. Thoughts are witnesses. Some helpful. Some liars. Now here's the mistake most people make. They put the negative thought on the stand. They start interrogating it. Why do I feel this way? Is it true? What if they're right? Stop. That thought has no evidence. It's not truth, it's fear dressed up as fact. And you don't need to argue with fear. You don't need to explain yourself to doubt. You throw out the case. Here's what you need to get. Every time you negotiate with doubt, you reinforce it. Every time you entertain that inner critic, you strengthen the loop. You wire your brain to rehearse the same limitation over and over. Because the brain learns what you repeat. It builds what you rehearse. And if what you rehearse is self-doubt, guess what becomes your baseline? Exactly. So let's get tactical. Step 1. Label the thought. Don't just sit in it. Call it out. This is fear talking. This is self-sabotage. This is the same old script trying to run again. Labeling gives you space. It creates distance between you and the thought. Because here's the truth. Thoughts are not commands. They are not facts. They are not prophecies. They're noise. And you get to choose what you listen to. Step 2. Interrupt the pattern. The moment you feel that spiral starting, interrupt it. Stand up. Move your body. Clap. Snap. Shake it off. Say something out loud. Don't let the thought finish its sentence. Don't give it a stage. Interrupt the loop before it takes over. Because the longer it talks, the more believable it starts to sound. Step 3. Go back to the plan. You don't need to solve the thought. You don't need to analyze it. You need to act. Ask yourself, what was the plan? What's the next right step? And then go do that. Not because you feel like it, but because you committed to it. Discipline doesn't wait for a good mood. It shows up anyway. Let's say it again. Thoughts are suggestions, not commands. You have a choice. That's the key. Decline the thought. Execute the plan. Don't negotiate. Don't justify. Don't spiral. Just move. And look, this isn't about pretending everything's fine. It's not fake positivity. It's not about slapping on a smile. This is mental discipline. There's a difference between feeling something and feeding it. You can feel doubt and still move. You can feel fear and still act. You can feel anxious and still rise. That's emotional maturity. That's leadership. That's the shift from reaction to identity. But here's the trap. You'll have a rough day. The voice will creep back in. It'll say, "See? You're still not good enough." Don't take the bait. Don't let it turn into a story. Starve the story. Feed the mission. You're not here to prove your worth. You're here to demonstrate your discipline. Here's your new mantra. I don't debate lies. I delete them. I don't negotiate with fear. I override it. I don't follow feelings. I follow standards. That's the shift. Because self-doubt doesn't need to be unpacked. It needs to be ignored. Fear doesn't need to be healed. It needs to be outpaced. Negative thoughts don't need attention. They need starvation. Stop feeding what's draining you. Stop watering what's working against you. And I get it, this takes practice. It's not instant. It's a muscle. But every time you catch the thought and refuse to negotiate, you get stronger. You build resilience. You reinforce your identity. That's how it changes, one rep at a time. So from now on, you hear the thought. You label it. You interrupt it. You get back to action. Don't fight the thought. Just let it die from lack of attention. Because you have a mission. And mission always beats mood. Let me leave you with this. You are not your thoughts. You are your actions. You're not what fear says you are. You're what discipline proves you are. So next time that voice shows up, don't sit down. Don't argue. Don't spiral. Stand up. Take a breath. Move forward. Execute. That's how you lead yourself. That's how you take your mind back. That's how you stop the cycle. You've broken the habit of mental negotiation. You've stopped giving energy to the liar in your head. You've taken your power back. And now that you know how to protect your mind, let's talk about how to protect your energy. Chapter 7. The mood media connection that's hijacking you. Let's start with a brutal truth. Social media is emotional crack. It's built to hijack your mood. It spikes you high, then drops you hard. Again and again. That's not coincidence. That's design. You've been played. But here's the good news. You have a choice. You don't need their permission. You don't need to scroll yourself sick. You just need to protect your internal environment, on purpose. Curate your input. Guard your mind. Protect your peace. That's the key. Here's how the hijack plays out. You wake up. You open your feed. You scroll past someone's perfect body, perfect life, perfect whatever. You compare. You criticize yourself. You scroll more. Now you're seeing outrage, drama, noise. Your mood shifts, and not in a good way. First you get a dopamine hit. Then you crash into envy, shame, or emptiness. And you call that just checking in. No. That's mental sabotage, disguised as a habit. And it's not accidental. It's manufactured. Here's the breakdown. The app developers? They know what they're doing. They know exactly how your brain works. They study your behavior. They design to trigger you. They want you emotionally hooked, and constantly checking back. You scroll. You swipe. You like. You share. And with every tap, your brain builds a habit loop. The reward system lights up. Your emotional baseline shifts. Suddenly, you need that external stimulus to feel okay. You think you're using the platform. But the truth is, you're the product. Your emotions, they're the data. Your attention, that's the currency. Your mood is being monitored, managed, and monetized. Here's a real-life example. You post something real. Something vulnerable. You get a flood of likes and comments. You feel seen, validated, lifted. Then, 2 minutes later, you see someone else's post. It's shinier. It's bigger. It's better. And suddenly, you don't feel so good anymore. That's not random. That's engineered emotional whiplash. High to low. Engagement to emptiness. And now you're posting again, hoping to feel that high. You're chasing validation. You're living for the next hit. That's the hijack. So what do? You don't have to delete everything tomorrow. But you do have to take back control. You become intentional. You curate. You cage the beast. Here's how. Step 1. Audit your inputs. Open your apps. Look at your feed. Look at who you follow. Which ones build you up? Which ones tear you down? Unfollow, mute, block, ruthlessly. If it triggers shame, comparison, or negativity, it's got to go. This is your mental home. You control who gets to speak inside it. Step 2. Schedule the scroll. Treat social media like dessert. Not breakfast. Not all-day buffet. Put it in a time box. Don't let it bleed into your mornings, your focus, your peace. You'll be shocked how much calmer your mind gets. Less chaos. More clarity. Step 3. Pause before you post. Before you hit share, stop and ask. Is this me, or just a mask? Is this adding clarity, or stirring drama? Am I sharing from purpose, or chasing praise? If the answer doesn't align with your values, don't post. You don't need the algorithm's applause. You need your own integrity. Step 4. Break the habit loop. Next time you feel the urge to scroll, interrupt it. Stand up. Stretch. Walk outside. Write something down. Breathe. Do anything that breaks the loop. Because every time you choose discipline over distraction, you strengthen your identity. That's the rewiring process. Step 5. Consume to build, not to escape. Change how you use media. Follow people who challenge you, not people who trigger you. Watch content that feeds your mind, not just your ego. Listen to voices that build you up, quietly, consistently. Not noise that yells for your attention. Let media be your tool, not your trap. Let's repeat the truth. Curate your input. Guard your mind. Protect your peace. Because you have a choice. That's the key. It's not about quitting cold turkey. It's about refusing to let someone else program your emotions. It's not about never logging in. It's about never letting it log into you. Now here's what happens when you make this shift. You stop waking up anxious. You stop comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. You stop letting your mood be dictated by strangers on a screen. You regain your power. You reset your baseline. You start to feel human again. And yes, this will be a battle. The pings, the alerts, the little red dots, they'll try to pull you back. But now, you know the game. And you've got armor, discipline, clarity, boundaries. You don't need their permission. You don't need their praise. You only need your peace. So here's where you stand right now. You've started taking back your emotional bandwidth. You've unplugged from the algorithm's grip. You've stopped letting your phone dictate your focus. And if you keep going, if you stay consistent, your mind will quiet. Your confidence will rise. Your clarity will return. That's what happens when you stop feeding the machine. Now that you've reclaimed your mind, it's time to reclaim your nervous system. You've tackled input. Now, let's master response. Chapter 8. Calm is a superpower, but it's earned. Let's get one thing straight. Calm is not weakness. Calm is not soft. Calm is not passive. Calm is trained. Calm is built. Calm is earned. You don't become calm by avoiding pressure. You become calm by practicing control inside pressure. That's the key. Calm isn't the absence of chaos. It's the refusal to let chaos control you. It's not about comfort. It's about command. You have a choice. You can react like everyone else, loud, flustered, emotional. Or you can build the skill that separates amateurs from the elite. Emotional composure under stress. Want to know who trains calm like a weapon? Navy SEALs, surgeons, firefighters, pilots, top athletes, special forces, high-stakes leaders. They don't just hope to stay calm. They train for it. Because when things go sideways, your feelings don't matter. Your response is everything. Let me be blunt. You don't rise to the level of your potential. You fall to the level of your preparation. So what do they do differently? They practice calm inside adversity. They build calm under heat, under fire, under pressure. Because calm isn't natural. It's rehearsed. Let's break this down into action. If you want calm to be your superpower, you have to train your nervous system. You have to wire it for control. Here's how. Step 1. Breathe like a warrior. This isn't yoga fluff. This is combat-level nervous system control. One of the simplest, most powerful techniques? Box breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Hold for 4. Repeat. That's it. This is what Navy SEALs use before missions. Why? Because it shifts the nervous system from chaos to clarity. You don't wait until you panic. You train the breath before the storm. Do it daily. Do it when you're calm, so you can use it when you're not. That's discipline. Step 2. Practice stress exposure. You don't build calm by hiding from tension. You build calm by stepping into it, on purpose. Cold showers. Hard workouts, difficult conversations, live presentations, calculated risk. Don't avoid stress. Train inside it. The more you voluntarily walk into pressure, the less power pressure has over you. Each time, your nervous system learns. I don't flinch here. I respond. Step 3. Journaling for objectivity. Calm starts in the mind. And the mind loves to spiral unless you discipline it. Write it down. Every morning or night, dump the noise. Use prompts like, what triggered me today? What story am I telling myself? What do I control in this situation? This is how the Stoics trained emotional control. It's not therapy. It's tactical thought management. You slow your mind. You separate fact from fiction. You create space between stimulus and response. That's where your power lives. Step 4. Conflict rehearsal. Most people panic in conflict because they never rehearse it. They avoid confrontation. So when it finally comes, they crack. Not you. Practice it. Rehearse hard conversations. Play them out in your mind. Visualize staying calm. Visualize holding eye contact. Visualize controlling your tone. Because when the moment comes, you've already been there. You're not winging it. You're repeating the rep. Calm is a rehearsed muscle. Step 5. Respond, don't react. This one's huge. You don't have to react to everything. That's emotional immaturity. Get a nasty comment? Pause. Hear something offensive? Breathe. Hit with bad news? Step back. Don't match their energy. Set the tone. Because when you react, you hand over control. But when you respond, you take it back. You have a choice. And that choice determines your power. Let me drill this in. Calm is strength. Calm is control. Calm is the weapon. You don't need to match the world's chaos. You weren't built to mirror noise. You were built to anchor in it. It's not about suppressing your emotions. It's about leading them. Because if you can stay composed when everything's breaking down, you win. Not just in business. Not just in relationships. In life. Now, let's handle the excuses. But I'm just an emotional person. Good. So is everyone else. But emotional doesn't mean undisciplined. It's not about your personality. It's about your practice. I just can't help it. Wrong. You can help it. You just haven't trained for it yet. You don't feel calm. You earn calm. Through breathing. Through practice. Through preparation. Every time you choose not to escalate, you're not backing down. You're leveling up. That's what separates amateurs from pros. Kids from adults. Wreckage from leadership. Calm. So what does this look like in real life? You walk into a heated meeting. Everyone's reactive. Tension's thick. You breathe. You listen. You speak with control. You didn't flinch. You didn't match their fire. You didn't let adrenaline run the show. You led. That's how respect is built. That's how trust is earned. That's how missions get completed. Now let me say this clearly. The world is loud. It's fast. It's reactive. It's addicted to drama. But you don't need to join the circus. You've trained. You've prepared. You've earned calm. That's the difference. So from here on out, when pressure shows up, you breathe. You observe. You execute. Because you've built the superpower most people ignore. Not loud. Not emotional. Not reckless. Calm. That's strength. That's control. That's the weapon. You've mastered your inner storm. Now it's time to master your outer energy. Chapter 9. Your environment shapes your emotional baseline. Let's get this straight right away. You cannot out-discipline a toxic environment. Discipline is powerful. It's necessary. But it's not enough when everything around you breeds stress, chaos, and noise. If your circle, your space, your schedule feeds negativity, you will mirror it. That's the key. Your environment shapes your emotional baseline. Your mood. Your reactions. Your energy. This isn't just psychology. It's biology. You walk into a room, a conversation, or a day that's already heavy, and your body feels it. Your mind feels it. Your emotions adjust to the input. That's why you feel drained around certain people. That's why some spaces make you anxious or restless. That's why some routines leave you flat and defeated. You might not realize it, but your environment is programming your nervous system every single day. Here's the truth. You have a choice. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't have to stay trapped in that programming. You can audit. You can change. You can design. Let's break it down. Your space. Where you spend your time shapes your state. Cluttered, noisy, chaotic, dark. These aren't just annoyances, they're triggers. Your brain sees clutter and noise as stress signals. Your nervous system goes on alert. On the flip side, clean, ordered, calm, bright. These send a message to your brain, all is well. Relax. Focus. Never underestimate the power of your physical environment. Start with your immediate space, your bedroom, your workspace, your living area. Ask yourself, does this space calm me or stress me? Does it fuel clarity or confusion? Does it support my goals or distract me? If the answer isn't calm and clarity, fix it. You don't need permission to clear clutter, cut noise, or brighten the room. You deserve a space that supports your mental strength. Your circle. You are the average of the 5 people closest to you. If those 5 drain you, stress you, or drag you into drama, you will reflect that energy. No amount of grit will keep you above the noise if your people keep pulling you down. Toxic relationships chip away at your emotional baseline. They spike stress hormones. They rewire your nervous system to expect conflict, tension, anxiety. You have a choice. You don't need permission to cut ties or distance yourself. Audit your circle ruthlessly. Who lifts you up? Who pulls you down? Who fuels your growth? Who feeds your drama? Curate your relationships like your life depends on it, because it does. Your schedule. Your calendar isn't just about productivity, it's about emotional hygiene. If every day is jam-packed, chaotic, and reactive, you will feel frazzled. Stress isn't just the big moments. It's the small, constant drains. Back-to-back calls. Missed meals. No breaks. Mindless scrolling during downtime. You have a choice. You don't need permission to say no. You don't have to fill every minute. Design your schedule like a fortress. Build in buffer zones. Create sacred downtime. Prioritize rest like it's a weapon. Your emotional baseline depends on it. Your noise and inputs. What you let into your mind shapes your mood. News cycles full of outrage. Social feeds designed to spike envy and anxiety. Endless notifications pulling your attention every second. You don't realize how much this noise hijacks your nervous system until you remove it. Environment dictates emotion. Change the input, change the outcome. Curate your media diet with the same ruthlessness you use to choose your circle. Choose calm, clarity, and growth. Block the noise that drags you down. The audit process. Build your mental fortress. Here's your tactical plan. Step 1. Audit your spaces. Look where you spend most of your time. Is it supporting your calm or feeding your stress? Clean it. Organize it. Brighten it. Step 2. Audit your relationships. Who lifts you up? Who pulls you down? Distance yourself from the drains. Protect your emotional energy. Step 3. Audit your schedule. What's running you ragged? What's draining your reserves? Clear the chaos. Create space. Step 4. Audit your inputs. What are you reading, watching, listening to? Is it feeding growth or anxiety? Cut the noise. Protect your peace. You have a choice. You don't need permission. You don't have to stay stuck. Environment dictates emotion. Change the input, change the outcome. You can build a fortress around your mind. You can design your life to protect your emotional baseline. You can take control. Here's the truth. No one can hold your mood hostage unless you let them. No external chaos can break your composure unless you allow it. But it all starts with protecting your environment. Your emotional baseline isn't just in your head, it's what you feed it every day. Remember this. Discipline is essential, but discipline alone won't save you in a toxic environment. It's not about willpower. It's about wise design. It's not about forcing calm. It's about creating calm. You have a choice. You have the power to audit, to edit, to elevate. You don't need permission. You just need commitment. So what's next? You've learned to build calm inside yourself. You've started breaking free from hijacked moods. Now, it's time to build the fortress around you. Because the battle isn't only inside your mind. It's in the world you live in. You mastered your emotional response. Now, let's talk about the true currency of your life. Chapter 10, Identity First. Emotion Second. Let's get this straight from the start. You don't act based on how you feel. You act based on who you believe you are. That's the key. Identity is the engine. Emotion is just the passenger. Feelings change. Identity stays the same. You've heard the excuses. I don't feel motivated. I'm too tired. I'm just not in the mood. Stop right there. Those are lies your emotions tell you to keep you safe, to keep you comfortable, to keep you stuck. You have a choice. You don't need anyone's permission. You are not your feelings. You are who you say you are. That's the difference between amateurs and pros, between kids and adults, between chaos and control. Here's the truth. When you see yourself as a finisher, a leader, a builder, you act like one. No matter your mood, no matter your fatigue, no matter your fear. Because identity drives behavior. If you identify as someone who finishes what they start, you don't wait for motivation. You don't wait for the mood to strike. You get it done anyway. That's the power of identity. Let's break it down. Identity is not what you do. It's who you are. Most people confuse identity with action. They say, I'm a runner, so they run. Or, I'm a writer, so they write. But here's the catch. If you only act when you feel like it, your identity is fragile. It's built on feelings, not discipline. Identity is who you decide to be when no one's watching. It's what you believe about yourself when your emotions scream, quit. That's why this phrase matters. I don't feel like it, but I am the type who does it anyway. Say it. Repeat it. Own it. This is how winners think. This is how leaders lead. Emotions are passengers, not drivers. Feelings will fluctuate. Motivation will come and go. Energy will rise and fall. That's normal. But your identity? Your identity sits in the driver's seat. When emotion tries to take control, remind yourself, I don't feel like it, but I am the type who does it anyway. When you lean into identity, you cut through the noise. You ignore distractions. You hold your line. Because you've trained yourself to act no matter what. How to build an identity that commands action. Step 1. Declare who you are. This isn't some vague, feel-good statement. This is a declaration. It's non-negotiable. I am the kind of person who finishes what I start. I am a leader who steps up under pressure. I am a builder who creates even when the work is hard. Say it out loud. Say it every day. You have a choice. You don't need anyone's permission to define yourself. Step 2. Reinforce identity with consistent action. Identity without action is just fantasy. Every time you show up, especially when you don't feel like it, you reinforce who you are. Miss one day? No big deal. Miss 2? Warning signs. Miss 10? You've lost your identity. Discipline isn't a one-time thing. It's a habit. It's a lifestyle. You have a choice. You don't need permission to show up. You just do it. Step 3. Overcome emotional resistance. Your emotions will resist. Fear, doubt, laziness, they will come knocking. This is where identity crushes emotion. When your mind says, quit, your identity says, finish. When your emotions plead rest, your identity demands lead. When your feelings whisper, give up, your identity roars, fight. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being relentless. Real talk, this is not easy. Living identity first means sacrifice. It means courage. It means discipline. You won't feel like doing the hard stuff all the time. You will want to quit. You will want to fold. That's normal. But the pros? They don't act based on feelings. They act based on identity. They don't need motivation. They need commitment. Practical exercises to anchor identity. Exercise 1. Write your identity statement. Get clear. Write it down. I am the kind of person who underscore. Fill in the blank with the identity you want. Put it somewhere you see every day. Repeat it. Believe it. Exercise 2. Daily affirmation with action. Every morning, say your identity statement out loud. Follow it with one action that matches that identity. No excuses. Exercise 3. Track your consistency. Keep a simple log. Did you act like the person you say you are today? Yes or no? If no, figure out what held you back. If yes, celebrate the win. What to stop doing. Stop letting emotions run your day. Stop waiting to feel like it. Stop making your mood the boss. You have a choice. You don't need permission. Why this matters? Because life doesn't wait for your mood. Because your dreams don't care if you're tired or scared. Because your potential doesn't activate on feelings alone. It activates on identity. When you believe you're the kind of person who follows through, you do it. When you believe you're a leader, you lead. When you believe you're a builder, you build. No matter what you feel. Let's wrap this up. You don't act based on how you feel. You act based on who you believe you are. You have a choice. You don't need permission. It's not about motivation. It's about identity. So say it with me. I don't feel like it, but I am the type who does it anyway. You mastered your environment. You mastered your calm. Now it's time to master your identity. And that's the real game changer. You are not your mood. You're the one who notices it, and more importantly, the one who chooses how to respond. Feelings come. Feelings go. But your mission, your integrity, and your outcomes? They remain. And now, you've got the tools to make sure your emotions never outweigh your decisions. From here, the work is to live it. So here's your challenge. For the next 30 days, override at least one unhelpful feeling each day. Just one. And in doing that, prove, through action, that you're truly in control. You'll move. And if you're ready to build on this foundation, and master every pillar of self-leadership, from radical ownership to inner stillness to unshakable resilience, keep going with our Self-Mastery Trilogy, available right here on this channel. And for those applying these principles to the most important role of all parenthood, our next audiobook is called The Calm Parent: How to Stay Patient When Everything Feels Out of Control. Subscribe now so you don't miss it. Thanks for being here. This is Mind Haven World. See you in the next video.